everyone, welcome back to another video. I am just doing a little afternoon walk in the garden and I thought I would bring my camera with me and share just what the garden is looking like at the moment, do kind of a really brief tour, show you all of the different areas of the garden. I have my cup of tea here to join me on this walk, so make sure to grab a cup of tea, coffee or another beverage and a snack to enjoy this video. I actually haven't done a proper garden tour in quite a while. Particularly up in the Cottage Garden area, I've been really focusing heavily on the flower farm, and I thought I would just do a little overview of the flower farm first and then we can walk up to the Cottage Garden. If you are new here, hello, my name is Robyn. I live on the south coast of New South Wales with my partner Scott and our 2 cats. I have a flower farm that I run here in my backyard. We live on about half an acre, so we have a good amount of space to be running a flower farm. I also make these YouTube videos here all about how to garden, grow food and start a flower farm. And I'm just coming out of a PhD that I finished last year, where I was doing research for quite a number of years looking at the impacts of mining on Indigenous communities in Cape York, Australia. So I'm really excited to just kind of give research a little bit of a break for now and focus on doing something that I truly love, get my mental health sorted, get my physical health sorted, and what better way to do that than starting a flower farm. So I will turn you around and show you kind of what it looks like at the moment. This is the very back of the property here. We also have some native plants down the back and pretty much plants, garden beds everywhere. So I'll turn you around and you can have a look at what the garden is looking like in, where are we now? The start of March. Wow, that's gone really quickly. So here is a really rough overview of what the flower farm area looks like. You can see down the back there is where we have some native plants, and we also have a native garden along here, which a lot of this I'm going to be using as foliage when they grow a lot larger. I won't focus too much on that for now. It's a work in progress. As you can kind of see, I'm just doing no dig beds everywhere, but pretty much all of this is a no dig flower farm. So we do a lot of tarping to kill the grass, and then I use my broad fork just to lighten up the soil a little bit and then make the rows with some compost. We use a lot of cardboard here to smother the grass, and then whatever mulch I have on hand or green manure I use to retain moisture in this area. The other day I did actually plant. Now I'm taking a risk with these, I fully know that, but I had some seedlings and I honestly just got so fed up with having seedlings, I just wanted to stick them in the ground. I'll see what happens. They were either going to go in the ground or in the compost, so I put them in the ground. These are 3 zucchinis that I have planted here. They're an early straight neck variety, I think that's what they're called. Apparently they only take about 45 days to mature, so we should actually get some more zucchinis from these. What I'm not too sure that we will get, but they may overwinter. I do have a lot of capsicums planted here. So I have some capsicums and jalapenos planted along that line. And then I had a few more tomatoes here, but I think, oh, actually, maybe they are okay. Okay being like that big. I don't think these are going to survive, but yeah, I did have a few tomatoes that I planted in here. I can't really see them though, so goodbye tomatoes. Moving up from there, I will walk over this way. We also just had a really hot day. We had about 35 degrees yesterday and it was 32 today, so everything's looking a little worse for wear. Keep that in mind when I'm showing you all of these plants. I have this row of zinnias here. I planted these in a previous vlog. They are all nice and tucked in there, and I planted this all into the green manure that I had here and then tarped it for quite a while. And I have videos on green manure and how to do that and how I do that in my garden. I also have a few tomatoes. I have some ones that I can't remember if they're indeterminate or determinate. They just don't need a trellis. They're sprawling varieties. I think I'm not too sure if this is a Roma or the totem tomato. My labels, you'll also know that they just I just don't do labels that well. So yeah, I have some veggies in the flower farm. Tomatoes, and you can see this one's gotten really burnt from the sun, so I don't know how well these will grow. Next to that I have some yarrow that I've been harvesting every single week. This is one of my favourite flowers to have as a filler in bouquets. Absolutely love it. And then on the other side I have another row of zinnias that I really need to come and mulch. I have a few more in here that I planted. This is my buckwheat green manure that I'm going to be chopping down, and it'll turn into something like this. But I have actually been using buckwheat in arrangements as well. So I have a few orders that I need to do later in the week that I'm going to use the buckwheat in. Down this row, very sad looking stardust. Again, it's on my to-do list, but I need to come through and just chop all of these down. These are all of the old stardust that I didn't get to harvesting. They've just gone over, both on that side and that side. I really haven't been loving the white, so I'm not going to grow this one again. It looks nice now, but it just doesn't really look great in arrangements, so I much prefer like the purple variety, or my favorite is actually all of the apricots, so I'm going to stick to these in future. And then I have my eryngium here, all of these spiky blue flowers that the bees are loving. This is also called sea holly. And some billy buttons that I'll probably come out and harvest for dried flowers very soon. I knew this was going to happen, but with this row of cosmos, they've absolutely gone crazy, and I haven't been keeping up with deadheading. I know everyone says you need to deadhead all the time, and I didn't, but I don't really care because seeing all of these pollinators and bees, and we've got honeybees, we've got native wasps that come over here. There are so many different types of bees and pollinators that love this cosmos patch. So I've been picking what I need and then letting the rest go. And yeah, it's just been making me so happy to see all of the beautiful pollinators just enjoying this. I have been really enjoying using cosmos, both for its beautiful flowers, but also just for the foliage. I will use the greenery in arrangements, and I find it's one of the best foliage plants that I've actually found that holds well in water. Like it really does last well into the week, even sometimes a week and a half. Looks amazing, and I'll definitely be doing this from now on. I think it'll be really great over winter as well to use cosmos greens if I don't get the flowers. Yeah, we'll see. This bed here has a little bit of feverfew left. Apologies to the dog next door. We have dogs all around us in this area. I need to come and plant some flowers or basil in here, or maybe snapdragons. I don't really know, but it's a spare bed. Mowing was happening today, so we had to move all of those. And down here I still have lots of beetroots that I need to harvest, some tomatoes as well, but you can tell they need to come out of the ground. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm probably gonna pick these and freeze some of them to use in hummus, roast some of them, and just get them out of the ground. So that is that patch there. Turn you around and we'll go through this area up to the zinnias. This is my zinnia patch. I have 2 rows and it works really well for me. I would like another 5 rows, but we'll get there eventually. They look absolutely magical in the afternoon. My favorite ones that I've been loving are all of the Queen Lime. I talk about them all the time, but this is Queen Lime Red. I have Queen Lime Orange somewhere. I've also been loving, this is the Benaries Giant. These are also my favourite zinnias, the salmon. It's just beautiful, it's just stunning. What I'm not massive fan on is the smaller ones, the Lilliput rose. I mean, this one's okay, how, you know, the shape of it, it's very full, but others like this one and these little ones, I find I'm just not really using them, so I don't know if I'll be growing those again. We'll see. But yeah, a lot of the queen limes I'm loving. They just obviously do have a little bit of a smaller flower though, so keep that in mind if you're looking into these. I usually like to combine these with some of the bigger zinnias because these are a little bit more of a focal flower. When I cut zinnias, I cut them pretty low, so that's why they're looking really great, because I've just been cutting so many times from them. They're starting to get just a little crazy and wild, but yeah, I will always cut them down to where I can see some new little shoots coming out, but they will always kind of reshoot if you cut them just above 2 leaves like that. So they really don't mind a harsh trim. So pretty. And then moving up from there, we have my little dahlia patch, which, I don't know, I probably just don't know how to do dahlias very well. I don't really like this one. This one just keeps on, I don't know, looking very sad. Every time it comes out, it just gets ruined by caterpillars as well. I need to come and just put something on it. This one is Thelma Maud, but what I am loving though is this one. This is Ned Kelly. Let me try and get a better shot. It's a little hard with the light to see, but it's such a stunning dahlia, and I love this size. I much prefer this size than I do to the larger ones. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but I just really like those. I also have some red dahlias that will come out soon and another pink one. I was a little late on planting these, so that's why I haven't had too many blooms yet, but they're definitely growing. And I do have a beautiful salvia here that I know the pollinators and the birds really love. So I like to incorporate, you know, something for me or something for the flower farm, and then something for the wildlife all around the garden. You can see we have another row of trees there, and that just really creates a nice environment for me to come out and garden, have birds around. It's really peaceful and just is really aligned with my values. So yeah, you'll see it's never one big row of something. There's always different things around, planted either within the row or directly next to it. All right, we'll walk up to the cottage garden area behind me here. Okay, so this is a little bit wild, and I'm just going to show you the garden before I've done anything to it. It's the end of season, well, it's technically the end of summer, start of autumn, but I know everyone's garden is looking like this at the end of summer. It's just absolutely crazy how fast things grow and how much I don't want to be out here weeding all the time. One of the jobs that I do throughout the week with working with Jeff at Whitbird Environmental, I do weeding, you know, to earn a little bit of money by working on people's properties and in people's gardens. And sometimes I just want to come back and enjoy my garden. So weeding hasn't really been taking a priority, but that's just my style of gardening. I honestly don't really care how it looks. I am going for more of like a wild and whimsical garden. And I find with cottage gardens, you can really get away with it being a little bit messy, because that's kind of the style of cottage gardens. They are very wild and overtaken and overrun. So yeah, in my opinion, it's looking exactly how I want it to look, kind of. But yeah, no, I do have a lot of work to do in here that I would like to get done to make it more productive. So over the next few weeks, you will see a lot of garden with me. So I want to redo the whole area, plant brassicas, lots of cool season crops, and just give it that love that it needs to be able to be a little bit more productive. Because one of the most productive things in here right now is something I didn't even plant. So the compost, and I'll put overlays of this while I'm talking about it. the compost produced what I think is to be a cross with a butternut pumpkin and a Jap pumpkin, or a Kent. I don't know which one it is crossed itself with, but it's ridiculous what it looks like. So I didn't plant it, it came out of the compost. I had a compost bin near there, and now we have just this random pumpkin that has trailed itself through my garden. Wasn't invited, but I made it very welcome. I'm always up for free food, so that's kind of the main thing we got going on over this side at the moment. Other than that, what I have been loving is my woolly bush still. I've been picking this and using this in arrangements. My silver mist, is that what it is? I think that's what it is. A little melaleuca in here. Stunning, looking so beautiful, and it's just going to be so amazing for arrangements. And I think Christmas time, making wreaths with that, I think that's going to be beautiful. Moving around here, we've had just really crazy weather, as I kind of mentioned, where we've had really hot weather and then really wet, like rainy weather. So a lot of the plants are just not, they don't like that. So this is one of the Canary Island lavenders that just hasn't been a fan of that, which is understandable. The tomatoes, haven't staked them, but I have been harvesting them. We have had buckets and buckets of tomatoes that I've been preserving and freezing, and we still have so many in the garden. So this is a Thai pink egg tomato down here that is just laden with fruit. Beautiful. My beautiful sage, my favorite herb. I just love it so much. Volunteer coriander, again my style of gardening. I love coriander. This is a mustard that has gone to seed already because it was keen and sprouted, because I had mustard here before, so I might have to replant that one. I do have my little fairy garden in there that is tucked away and doing well. Next to the pincushion flowers. I love seeing these from my room. I will look down at these and just see them covered in pollinators. The bees love them, and they've been looking really great in arrangements. The seed heads though on them, I'm not a fan of what they look like. Not going to tell you what they remind me of, but yeah, much prefer the little flowers. Next to that, we have some self-sown calendula, which I will gladly have in my garden, and I will use that for drying over winter. My forest of zucchini, this is just one zucchini plant, by the way, that I also harvested yesterday. Some massive zucchini that I'll overlay what that looks like. Yeah, we've got zucchini everywhere in the house. It's becoming decor, basically. So yeah, we've only had 2 zucchini plants the whole season, and they have been just doing so well. There are a few more down there. This side of the garden is a little wild. I don't want to go too far down there, but I do have a sad zucchini plant, some weeds, a feverfew that's looking pretty sad, just sad tomatoes, so we don't need to go around there. But I'll turn you around to this side, which is also looking a little bit sad, but I've got lots of cat mint for the cats that the wasps and bees are loving. Again, with a volunteer pumpkin / butternut. I don't know what it is, but it's there. Lots of tomatoes that I have been harvesting. So I've been picking a lot from this area, and this is where I had some compost that I put down, some homemade compost, and I think that's really benefited the tomatoes here. We've been just harvesting so many. Lots of romas, lots of grosleys, never know how to say it, the beautiful yellow ones. And yeah, now it's definitely a little sad, so I'm excited to plant some winter and autumn veggies in here. My rosemary is looking beautiful and is so happy though. I do have a lot of herbs and medicinal plants around here as well, which I'm really loving. Some beautiful little violas tucked away there, self-sown calendula, some beautiful parsley, some leeks planted there, protected from the bandicoot, more parsley that's gone to seed, a rose, some thyme, very sad looking native violets. They'll perk back up though. And then this side, I might actually go over the other side to show you because the light is not great, but quickly here I have all of my strawberries that I'm going to, one job is actually to move all of these and create a garden bed somewhere over there that they can stay permanently, just because they didn't really work in this location. They look beautiful, but they just didn't really work. Calendula taking over the pathways, which is fine. Snapdragons that really need to come out. Cucumber plant which really needs to come out. Sage is looking good, so that's good. Some more feverfew over there, and a rose that I really need to deadhead in there. So that is kind of the view from this side. And then I have all of my little seedlings that I've been hiding under the pumpkin leaves during the day. I have lots of zinnias ready to be planted, some gomphrena, lemon basil, feverfew in there, more pincushion flowers down there. And this is all my worm farm setup. That also is another job that I need to move all of these. So yeah, lots of work that I need to get done. I didn't show you all of the plants in this area just because there are so many, but I will actually head down, quickly show you the rhubarb, because I do want to share something really beautiful that happened with that the other day, which is just over there. So I knew there was some down here because every night I heard some little noises down here, which kind of clued me on to the fact that there are some beautiful little frogs in this area. I'll put an overlay on the screen of them, but they live in my little rhubarb patch, and that is just like one of the goals that I had for this garden, was to bring in small little frogs and just small insects and birds and create a little sanctuary for them. And I can tell you, every time I come out here and have a look at the rhubarb, I see these two gorgeous little frogs. I'll put the name on the screen because I'm not too sure off the top of my head what they are, but I do have it written down somewhere. And there's a smaller one and a larger one, so I think it's a male and a female, and they're just always together. They are always around on the rhubarb, just loving life. I have been just lightly watering the patch of rhubarb on the hotter days that we've been having, because I know that they're there, but it's so beautiful to see that in my little fairy garden there are some cute little green frogs. It makes me so happy that they're there, because I mean, this was all just grass a year ago. It was completely grass, no plants on it, and we've created a little sanctuary and just increased biodiversity by so much. It just goes to show that you really don't need a large growing space to increase biodiversity and also grow lots of food. I'm just so happy that we've created that little sanctuary for those little frogs in this little area. And it goes to show that there's so many other animals in there that I don't really see, because that's what the frogs are eating and feeding off. So it's honestly just the best reward to see them in the garden. They make me so happy, and it just goes to show what can happen when you do organic gardening. I like to follow permaculture principles as well, and I always like to garden with nature rather than against it, and just accept things like weeds are common, pests and bugs are common, things are going to die in the garden, that's super common as well, and just really normalize failure in the garden, because it is such a big thing, and I'm failing on the daily at the moment with things that I'm growing, but that's just normal. That's how nature is. It's how, you know, it's what happens in forests and all different types of ecosystems. There's competition, and it's just impossible to keep every plant alive. So just keep that in mind and be kind to yourself and your garden and nature around you. And it's just much more of a rewarding way to garden, in my opinion. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this little garden update and walk around with me. I realize I have left my cup of tea way back down the other end of the garden, so I'm gonna go and walk and grab that and just enjoy a few moments of peace in my garden. If you would like to see any more kind of specific content from me, then please do let me know in the comment section. I also have a Patreon where I share extra content, extra behind the scenes content, and kind of daily vlogs, travel vlogs of what Scott and I get up to around the area. So I would love to see you over there as well, where I prioritize all of your questions and answer absolutely everything, and just have a little bit more of a garden community over there. Make sure to like this video if you liked any of the content, and subscribe for lots more garden and flower farming content. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.